I goofed. Oops.
What's the matter?
No, nothing's wrong. I just almost accidentally played the intro again. First episode problems! No. Hashtag first episode problems. So, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, welcome one and all to the very first episode of Drezen Draws. It has been a long time coming. We're finally here. I'm finally here. Nancy's finally here. Nancy
Hello.
Scurry of Two Sentence Horrors, which you should follow on Facebook. And at twosentencehorrors.com. She came out tonight. She braved the cold, and I really appreciate it. And you should too. And if you don't, then I don't care about you. So,
Don't sugarcoat, Rick.
of course not. Well, I mean, I also don't want to swear on Drezen Draws, only because there might be little ones watching. Maybe not now, but eventually. And I forgot to start recording. So maybe we'll do that fancy intro again.
Yes.
So. So, welcome everybody, one and all, to the very first episode of Drezen Draws. That laugh at the end was basically because I started streaming this episode before pressing the record button on OBS software, which is what we are using to bring you Drezen Draws. Now, the thing about Drezen Draws is very simple. I'm basically going to sit here, talk to you, and draw silly pictures, which either you request or you vote on based on a series of cartoon characters that I provide in polls on Facebook, at least when those polls are working. Even in the future, nothing works. To quote the great Rick Moranis in Spaceballs, I'm obviously going to leave out an expletive because this is a family show. I know it sounds stupid and trivial for anyone to be saying that in this day and age, but let's be real here. You know, there's just, you know, like anything else, there's a time and a place. So I should be ready to go in about a moment or two. What?
Oh, come on.
It should be. Okay. I'm being informed that we may or may not have technical difficulties. You know, there is just, you know, like... Oh, okay. Currently, keyframes are not being...
Yeah, we're good.
Hooray! Alright. I think I know what I'm doing now.
Huzzah.
Yeah, really. Let me just make sure that this is coming out okay on Facebook, and then we'll get into the business at hand, which is very important.
Huzzah.
Yeah, really. So like I said, this is a weekly series. The normal airtime is Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please subscribe to this channel.
Like I did.
Yes. And also be sure to turn on notifications for this channel as well, because you would think the two of them would be, hand in hand, but unfortunately, because YouTube has done a lot of dumb things, you, YouTube, have done some really, really, really dumb things. This would be really, really cool in 3D. Just like some of the Three Stooges shorts we were watching. So, now that we've ironed out that little bit of nonsense, we're going to move this over here. Just when you think you're ready to go, there's one other annoyance that keeps you from getting there. So let's see now. Let's close a few of these. Just see one other thing. Oh, whatever. Let's just get on with it. This is what you came here for. You came here to watch me draw pictures, not figure out how to do a drawing stream. That's why I'm also recording this. Oh, and also, if you have a request for a drawing you would like to see on here, send it to drezenmedia@gmail.com. It's really not polite to point, but I don't care. I'm doing it anyway. So, send it there.
How about a zombie in the adult film industry?
I will pretend I did not hear that. So, this week's episode is Eddie Munster is first on our list of boy geniuses, followed by Mighty Max and Dexter and Mandark from Dexter's Laboratory. So, let me open up my reference photo, which is this. I'm not going to trace over it because in this particular case that might be cheating. So, like everything else, I like to start off by, hey now, roughing stuff out. Again, I'm still playing into the technical difficulties that I face right now. Okay. I think I'm just going to draw the face. I loved watching The Munsters when I discovered it on TV Land back in the mid-90s. Now, I wouldn't say that Eddie Munster is my favorite character on the show. No offense to the great Butch Patrick, who played Eddie on the show during its 2-year run.
Amazing how these shows, like Star Trek was only on for like, what, not even 2 seasons, the original Star Trek.
Yeah.
The Munsters, just because I guess it was in syndication.
The Addams Family, too.
Yeah. Because it was in syndication for so long, we just figured it was on forever.
Yeah.
And the original. Even something like Dark Shadows wasn't on as long as, you'd think it was on for years and years and years.
Yep. Pretty much. Let's see. I love the face that he's making in this picture. It's so great.
Your mom's cookies are excellent, by the way.
Did you hear that, Mom? If you're watching.
Thank you, Rich's mom.
Her name's Irene.
Thanks,
FYI.
Irene.
Yes. Mom, if you're not watching, I'm disappointed.
I'm not upset. I'm just disappointed.
Oh, I'm upset and disappointed. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't share Drezen Draws on here. Come on. There we go. Everyone's probably like super inebriated right now, but we won't talk about inebriation when there are children that might watch this at some point. Okay. So now we go on to the hair. Now, you might be...
widow's peak for a young child.
Yeah. And I mean, you might think, oh, you draw Wolfman like all the time, I mean, this should be a cakewalk for you. And actually, I think it is. But at the same time, Lucky is a different kind of Wolfman. He requires a certain aesthetic, just like Eddie Munster requires a certain aesthetic. Oh wow, I'm really enjoying this. Butch Patrick was on People's Court a few years ago because some dude was suing him because Butch hadn't paid him for this website that he designed or some nonsense. Always seems to be child actors that are getting in legal troubles later in life.
Pay your artist.
Yeah, Peter Robbins, who was the original voice of Charlie Brown, is in and out of jail now, and it's unfortunate. I feel bad for him, but at the same time, it's like, you don't let star power go to your head.
So, Eddie was a Lycan. His mother was a vampire.
Yes.
And his father was a flesh golem.
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, I would definitely have to agree with that.
So yeah, interesting how Eddie turns out as a wolf, as a Lycan.
Mm-hmm. I mean, my favorite feature about Eddie is his doll, his Wolfie doll. That's just so precious. It gives him kind of a certain level of charm to his character. It's like, I mean, he's a monster, and yet at the same time, he's like any other little 9-10-year-old boy. What's really weird is that...
With friends like Oogie.
Oogie.
Grandpa turned him into a rabbit. At a birthday party.
Oh dear. Oh, look at that. See, it's not called cheating. It's called meeting deadlines.
It's revision work. It's perfectly reasonable.
No, it's actually called copy-paste. But close. Next time you might just get that cigar. See, this is interesting because you know, doing this first episode with somebody else in the room, because I have somebody to play off of. And
I'll be here all evening. Tip the waitress.
yes. There we go. Deviate from the rough a little bit. For those of you who are not watching this live, shame on you. You like my status that I burped today, but which is what
they were sober back then. Or not, you know.
Still pre-gaming.
I appreciate that you share with the group. Sort of.
Yeah. I share a lot of weird things with the group.
I noticed that.
Yes.
And your folks still talk to you. That's awesome.
Well, they have no choice.
Yeah.
You need me to, come over for things other than my own laundry. I love you, Mom. I love you, Dad. My dad's like, yeah, we know. And my mother's like, don't say such stupid things. Well, hate to say it, but I'm the firstborn and the first to learn the hard way. That's just unfortunately how it is sometimes. Mom, if you were the firstborn, maybe you would understand. Maybe you won't. Maybe you would actually learn how to play that tiny harp that you got for your birthday like 2 years ago.
Who gave her that? Who would do such a thing to your mom?
Well, she wanted one.
Is it an actual playable?
Yeah. Yeah, she played the birthday song for me on my birthday that year because my mother's birthday is in January. So generally speaking, when I was much younger and much poorer, I would buy her a Christmas present that would count towards Christmas and her birthday. And I need to really even out this side of the head with some hair. If you like this video, I recommend that you share it with your friends. Believe it or not, YouTube, I haven't tried this myself, but, if one of you feel like experimenting, there is a DVR feature on YouTube for live videos. I really do not understand how it works, but if you're game enough to figure it out, let me know. I'm curious. I'm not curious to try it. I'm just, I just want to know if you were able to do it or not. It was funny, Nancy. I was gonna do this one first because I was nervous as all heck about it, and honestly, it's come out a lot better than I intended it to.
Maybe hydration was working out for you.
Perhaps.
A little hydration before you start drawing. Which
Yep.
normally I wouldn't recommend, but
What is it that we call it in the doggo meme world? Doing a hydrate. Heck. And heck is usually taking the place of a certain 4-letter word, but again, family show, we're not gonna go there. Even though I sort of just put the word in every little boy's head, so... word of advice, wait till you're in 5th grade. Then you'll get in less trouble. These should be... there we go. we go. By getting just that right of a straight line as I go in to a slow, calm Bob Ross volume. I don't care what anyone says about Bob Ross. I think he was a genius. He was one of the most noble artists who ever lived and died a much richer man than I think any artist could ever consider dreaming of, myself included.
And also got an episode on epic rap battles.
Yes, that too. I haven't seen a lot of those recently. I think.
They're on hiatus, I think.
Are they?
Fun fact: Nice Peter bopped me on the head while dressed as Rob Ross in the middle of BB King's with a paintbrush.
Boy.
If you're out there, Nice Peter.
I hope the humor was appreciated on both ends.
Well, let's see. I was they were doing Bob Ross versus Picasso, and of course,
God.
Nice Peter plays Bob Ross, and Epic Lloyd does Picasso. So I was on one side of the stage, by the sound guy, and I was on like Nice Peter's half of the stage, and I'm watching Epic Lloyd do his rap, his part of the rap, and so Nice Peter comes up and like it with a paintbrush like you would for a house, because you got to see it on stage, so it's not like a little teeny little fine paintbrush. But he's got one of these big paintbrushes that he was using as his prop, and he goes and he just bops me on the top of the head with the bristles, and then just kind of like bounces off all giggly, and I'm like, you twit. But yeah, so that was my encounter with Bob Ross / Nice Peter at
Right.
BB King's.
Okay, so let's do away.
Are we
with
saving
the
that for posterity? Are you going to sign it and put it on...
Of course I am.
There you go.
Alright, so... I don't like the way I started that signature. Yeah, there we go. After 4 hard ciders...
It's not hard cider, it's the special apple juice.
Whatever.
It's the hydration.
Whatever. And, kids, trust me, do not drink
Don't drink
underage. I mean, even more so than that.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just pause for a little PSA. I didn't have my first alcoholic beverage, like my first legally obtained alcoholic beverage, until I was 25. And I will tell you why. Because there are certain rules in place for a reason. There are so many deaths that are caused by drinking and driving, and, well, you know, alcohol. And too much of anything is a bad thing, but it's better to be a responsible adult and just wait a little bit, pad the rest of your life out, because if you screw it up too early, you know, I mean, it's like there are guys that get thrown in prison 18, 19 years old, even younger. You know, you screw up too early, then it's like the rest of your life is done, over with. If you're going to make mistakes while you're young, make little mistakes. You know, leave the booze for later on, because by then you'll hopefully have the intelligence to know that it really isn't, you know, worth the fun. There really is no fun in getting drunk. You get drunk to relax, but, well, you know. Anyways, moving on. And by the way, as long as I'm on this angle, if you like what you see here and you want to request something, drezenmedia@gmail.com. We're also on Facebook and Instagram, both at Drezen Draws. So tell us what you think. Tell us if you like this. Tell us if you hate it. If you tell us why you hate it, all I would like to suggest is tell us why you hate it. So, getting back to the drawing cam, this is Eddie Munster from the Munsters. So, let me just save this really, really, really quick. I don't know, Nancy, if you want to, give some insight into what it is that you do while I'm getting ready. By all means, the camera is right here.
Hello, everyone. Nancy Scurry. I've spent a good chunk of my life writing stuff, and it said, sort of like what Rich, we were talking about this earlier. He was kind of just tossing, how he does the drawing live, and it makes it easy. But that's kind of the, to make it look easy, it takes a lot of work. So as he said, very well said, by the way.
Yay.
They said, you want to go out and you want to grow up, especially when you're much younger. But you're better off taking some time and just doing the daily stuff on a regular basis, drawing, writing, whatever it is that you enjoy doing, because, you get that foundation under you, and then it just makes it easier to enjoy everything else. And they said, then you can go ahead and sit down and just roll off Eddie Munster, and it looks like, wow, that's simple, I can do it, until you actually try doing it. Like I tried earlier, and we won't talk about that. Well, not today. Maybe another episode. You'll have Nancy Draws, and they'll say, well, I can continue drawing, or you could subscribe to Drezen Draws, and you'll be much better off.
Why, thank you.
Why, you're welcome.
Think. I mean, it's like I'm not here to like
people. Like, you can watch me draw, or you can watch Rich draw. Take your pick. Pick Rich.
Right.
Team Rich.
Team Rich.
Team Drezen.
Team
Drezen.
Banana.
Do
Do do do do.
banana.
Do 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 do.
Banana.
Do 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 draw. So next up is Mighty Max. I was surprised that that this one got a lot of the votes, and not Elroy Jetson, or even the, is it eponymiously named Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius? But whatever. I don't really care for that character anyway.
Well, then it's just as well.
Yes, exactly. So, Mighty Max was a series of toys from the 80s and 90s. And it was made into a cartoon at one time or another. And I believe, and I'm going to do some research on this right now, Mighty Max cartoon, because I am a nut when it comes to stuff like this. Yes. Let me just
You need a production assistant to go and do this stuff.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like on sports radio, you don't think they actually go and flip through all, Google everything. Yeah. They have an intern to do that.
Yep.
Really, you need to get an intern, a budget for an intern.
That's I do.
And you get Eddie, you get the licensing sorted out. You get that Eddie picture on a shirt. You can have like the Drezen Draws.
That is actually something that I'm going to do very sparingly because of copyright and everything. So, yeah. I just wanted to send a little message to Rob Paulson, if he's around. I mean, I'm sure he's doing some really wonderful things, like getting ready for his next podcast. Rob does a crazy, amazing podcast that I haven't been able to listen to for quite some time because I'm a little too crazy busy for my own good. And it's called Talkin' Tunes. If you've never listened to it, I highly recommend that you do, because it's crazy good. The guests that he has that come on are incredible. Do I have the right angle? Yes, I do. I do not like the way that I started that drawing. Let's start with the full body. Yeah, there we go. He's about like maybe 3.5 heads tall. Animators will know that term better than anyone. Now I know why this model sheet that I found of him was drawn from this side of his face. Look at those boots. Holy snap.
Well, you picked the picture, so.
I know, right? Why do I do that?
I don't know. Why do you do that?
I'll have to get back to you on that.
Everything seems like a good idea at the time.
And then you go ahead and it's maybe not such a good idea after. But who's counting? This is only my first episode. It won't be my last. No matter how badly this is received. I haven't gotten any hate mail yet, so.
You haven't checked it, though, so.
Oh, why would I want to?
No, don't do it. Don't feed the trolls.
Nah. No,
not that you guys are trolls. You guys are awesome.
Whoever you are that's watching. Oh, I got a notification. Okay. Alright, so. Should save the details for later on. Yeah, but Rob Paulson, seriously, is like one of the greatest voice actors to have ever lived. Much less done a voice for, like, anything, because he's really just that good. He's got a very distinctive voice. It's very easy to listen to, very easy to remember. And I'm not just saying this, you know, to suck up or any of that.
Sure
I'm saying that because, you know, I want him to keep getting work because, you know, it's like I see a trend of some of the old guard of animation cartoon voiceovers, you know, not getting work anymore, and it really depresses the heck out of me. So, you know, gotta look after, you know, the voices I grew up with.
What do you think of Mark Hamill as a voice actor?
What do I think of Mark Hamill as a voice actor? I think Mark Hamill is a wonderful human being.
That's that good, huh?
I love Mark Hamill. I am not a Star Wars fan by any stretch of the imagination, but if Mark Hamill is involved, I mean, with the exception of Star Wars, because I don't need that in my life. Sorry, Star Wars, but
No, I'm talking like his work with on the Joker. And
oh
stuff
my
like
god,
that.
best Joker ever, hands down. I mean, Nicholson is like the only other thing that comes close, and Cesar Romero is a close second, because Cesar Romero. I think I underestimated how difficult Max would be to draw. But I kind of remember the first time I you know, looked at a picture of Mighty Max. I remember him being a little bit shorter than this picture I found. Perhaps Rob does too, but I mean, this is over 20 years ago. You know, who knows? I mean, it's like, granted, not every cartoon character you end up voicing is guaranteed to be a hit. Because I mean, we all know how Battletoads turned out and how Bubsy turned out, both as a game and as a cartoon. I mean, say what you want as far as I'm concerned, and I go with the same mantra: cartoons are good. They're just good. I mean, even bad cartoons are good. Like, and mainly because they're so bad. Nancy, one of these days, I'm going to subject you to the torture that is Patty the Pelican.
Patty the Pelican?
Patty the Pelican. If Milton Knight is seeing this, anyone who hasn't seen Patty the Pelican hasn't lived. I mean, anyone who hasn't seen Patty the Pelican doesn't know the full extent of the definition of pain.
So I've been missing out all my life. Is that what you're telling me? Or you just hate me and you want to get rid of me?
No, I never said that I hate you.
Thank you.
I do not want to get rid of you.
Thank you.
I hope that you will not want to get rid of me after seeing Patty the Pelican, though. It's just really that like,
it doesn't even have any like The Room so bad it's good redeeming qualities to it. It's just horrible. You know, you're not on camera at the moment, so nobody saw that face. Could you care to just verbalize that thought there a little bit? No. Shall I translate for you?
She doesn't know what she's getting herself into. I might have to do that after I finish this.
Oh, dear.
Yes.
So
I forgot the back
what
of
are
his
your
head.
thoughts on, speaking of voiceover, voice actors and things like that, what are you thinking of, like, how video games, in the beginning it was considered very, like, kind of like disreputable to be a voice actor on a video game, and now, you know, they bring in like A-list actors?
As far as I'm concerned, you know, I mean, look at somebody like the voice of Duke Nukem, John St. John. I mean, it's like, whether it's disreputable or not, I mean, it's work. The people said the same thing about television in its early day. I have to get rid of this one line because it looks very...
not good.
And neither does that line. And
do you want to put it just an entire bar off of this bottom third? Just like
you know, there was a very uplifting experience that I had with my art career in 6th grade, and I will demonstrate it here. Me and two other people and I, if you will, had a situation.
Thank you
where,
for that one.
Where we couldn't agree on how to draw a head on a character, so I kept drawing something one way. Somebody else drew it another, and then finally my friend Rennie Rontanella just grabbed the pen out of my hand and just went like that. You have hooks for hands.
A hook for a head.
Hooks for hands, peg legs, a hook for a head.
Why not?
Exactly.
And it still would have come out better than I did.
Oh, poppycock.
Balderdash.
I said poppycock because I didn't want to say bullshit, but whoa!
We'll have to get that out in post-production.
Nah.
Is there a post? No, there is no post-production.
This is all live. I mean, it's being recorded, so whatever. Maybe little
Mom and
Johnny
Dad,
was
you
tinkling.
may want to go and send Junior out for popcorn.
Speaking of which, we have popcorn here.
Would you like some popcorn?
No. Okay. Awkward silence.
Sorry, I was trying some delicious popcorn.
You know what they say? Do not feed the artists. Pay them.
Absolutely. But not in peanut butter.
Yeah, because some of them are allergic to it. Just like me.
That's sad, by the way. I was quite distressed to learn that.
Well, I did eat peanut butter at one time in my life. And then I turned 22 years old, and I was at the home of a friend, and he didn't have very many snacks lying around, and everyone is going live right now. No wonder that nobody's watching my live stream. Anyways, so he offered me some cashews. I'm like, all right, I'll eat some cashews. That's fine. So I was over at his house to work on a project with him, and about 10 minutes after I had the cashews, all of a sudden the back of my mouth felt like it was turning to wood. And I was like, this is
not good.
Very, very not good. So
how did a cashew allergy turn into a peanut allergy?
Because every time I'm around peanuts now, I start to sneeze.
Well, that's
like,
not good.
yeah, no, it's not.
But you don't get like anaphylactic, but like everything shuts down. You just start sneezing, or?
Yeah, and that's basically enough for me to be like, you ain't getting no Reese's, son.
Not that I would wish such a thing, but I just. Because I know folks that are like with like bees and like peanuts and things, they have to carry an EpiPen around them, like when they worth $4 million each. But
yeah, especially when you have people like Farmer Bro that are hiking up the prices of everything. And
I blame it's his Wu-Tang habit. That's
yeah. Oh, by the way, Martin Cicrelli, if you ever happen to be watching any one of my live videos, please get off right now because you are not welcome on my live videos. I think he's going to be like one of the only people that I'm ever going to ban from all of my live videos. Like, ever. Ever. You're banned. You're banned. Stay off my page. Stay away from me. Go listen to your Wu-Tang album. Probably stinks anyway. I don't like that mouth. You know, for some strange reason, I feel like I'm really trying hard to make Max look like Rob. Because, I mean, when you see younger pictures of Rob, not that I'm saying Rob is old.
Well, younger.
But,
you didn't say young. Younger.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's like, he had the mullet going and everything, and, I mean, it was really cool. I mean, I was jealous. I'm like, ooh, Rob Paulson, man.
Well, that was back in the day. I mean, that was like a thing.
Yep. Oh, there we go. I think that...
Except for the parts of Florida where my parents live, where, heaven help us, they have Mullet Fest every year.
Oh.
And yeah, so it's like it's a lifestyle. It's not a hairdo. It's not a fish. It's a lifestyle.
I see.
Yeah, that's why I do not live.
Well, I can imagine that Florida just gets very lame after a while.
Well,
Except in weather like this, where it's like I would rather be in Florida right now. And all brutal honesty, I love New York. I love New York so much, but the weather here is a problem.
yeah, but they get gators though.
I'm okay with gators.
No, like right by their house.
Hey, that. As far as I'm concerned, I would prefer that a gator come near my house as opposed to any of these creepy Verizon salespeople.
Well, they take care of the creepy Verizon salespeople. I mean.
Oh yeah, they probably feed them to the gators.
But you know, sometimes they can't tell the difference. They don't check for IDs, and they go after you.
Yeah. Just, which one of our agents ate your husband? The one that looked like a suitcase. Oh no, there's nobody like that here. And the search continues.
I love you, Ma, if you're watching, but I'm not going to Florida.
Yeah. I mean, traveling to Florida around this time, I am not going to draw the shoes like that. I'm just going to draw the shoes like I would anything else.
One stroke at a time.
Well, that's kind of how everything gets drawn by yours truly, but...
Oh, you know, so there you are.
Way ahead of me, and I don't even realize it. So what I would like to know from my dear audience, whichever of you are watching, who is watching the Marx Brothers tonight? Anybody at all? Anyone that exists?
What channel is that one on?
I don't know. I know it might even be TCM for all I know.
It sounds like.
Well, there was actually a theater in Boston that was running 35mm prints of some of the later Marx Brothers films. All of which I have. I just haven't seen all of them. I've seen Room Service. I've seen A Night at the Opera. Love Night at the Opera. I've seen A Day of the Races. I kind of like Day at the Races. The first time I saw a Marx Brothers movie was on New Year's Day, incidentally enough.
Duck Soup?
Nope. A
Never
Day
saw
at the
Duck
Races.
Soup?
No, I've seen Duck Soup,
That's
but
what
that wasn't the first one I ever saw.
No, I was like, have you ever seen Duck Soup?
Of course. How could I forget Duck Soup? That's the creme de la creme in the Marx Brothers catalog. Followed by Animal Crackers and then Horse Feathers.
Horse Feathers is awesome.
Horse Feathers is awesome. Whatever it is, I'm against it. I think Ed and I tried to fit that into at least one Lucky strip that we collaborated on. And if we haven't, then Ed, yes, and if you're watching this, we're gonna find a way to get some Marx Brothers nonsense into Lucky somehow. Just make a note of that.
You maybe doing a Marx Brothers or like a Three Stooges themed Drezen draws.
That's a very distinct possibility. As a matter of fact, I don't want to spill the beans, but
Spill.
No, I can't, because then that means I have to commit to one more thing that I...
Well, I'm just saying you're going to do an episode anyway, so why don't you do one of that?
Well, there is a comic strip series in mind that I do have that I would like to do in the future, but I'm gonna need, you know, some resources to do it. And when we're off the stream, Nancy, I'll tell you more about what it is I have in mind.
Great.
As long as you promise not to tell anybody.
Who am I going to tell?
Ghostbusters?
Well, that's who I'd call, but I wouldn't
okay.
necessarily tell.
Good. Especially not Venkman, that womanizing piece of...
I never trusted Venkman.
Yeah. Let's see. And normally, just so everyone is aware, I won't normally be coloring in these drawings while going live. So this is a rare opportunity, since whoever you are, if any, that are watching this...
Oh, we got a couple.
Yeah.
And thank you, by the way, whoever's out there.
Yep. I might just stream from Facebook Live in the future and just, you know, publish to YouTube later on, because it seems to... I get more viewers from Facebook, in all brutal honesty. Because, I mean, YouTube is... Well, YouTube kind of stinks. And yet, we're using their service. Okay. So, we have a Mighty Max.
Nice.
It's nowhere near what the cartoon was, but I wasn't intending it for it to be. And I'm going to dedicate it to Rob Paulson, that is. Because Rob is just simply the man, the myth, and the legend. So we are going to pause while I adjust my chair. I'm going to need another one. At some point I will be accepting donations for the Get Rich a New Chair Fund, but more on that as it develops. In the meantime, we are going to pause to get that email address up here again. It's drezenmedia@gmail.com. You can also go on drezenmedia.com and make a suggestion there in the suggestion submission thingy, or whatever it's called. Sorry, it's very late. But we have time for one more drawing. Why do I still have this thing on? It's because I'm tired. Ugh. So, anyways, shifting gears again. Nancy, if you want to say a few more words while I get myself situated.
Okay. Well, let's see. Well, hopefully you enjoy what you're seeing so far. If you have suggestions, again, drezenmedia@gmail.com. If you have anything better than the Three Stooges and the Marx Brothers, please feel free to jump in and make some suggestions. And again, thank you very much for joining us while we're listening to my blather and all that other stuff. And that's it. Hope you're enjoying what you're seeing.
Okay. Very good. Very, very... Ah! I hate this camera.
Danger, Will Robinson. I told you should have got the clamp going.
Oh, I actually had a halfway decent, if Dutch angle going before. This'll have to do. That? Yeah, that'll work.
There we go.
Oh, boy. And the final drawing on tonight's episode of Drezen Draws is something you may remember if you were born between the years of 1989 and about 2000 or so. And that is Dexter from Dexter's Laboratory and Mandark from Dexter's Laboratory. Now, these, I think, are going to pose the biggest challenge for yours truly, because I have never drawn either of these characters before. But actually, no, I think I'm gonna have a breakthrough.
Well, you gotta be willing to try new things.
Absolutely. And this drawing in particular is going to be dedicated in loving memory of the great voice acting legend Christine Kavanagh, who left us at age 51 last year. Chrissy, you are very deeply missed and very loved throughout the world with all the great cartoon characters you gave voice to, from Oblina in Ah Real Monsters to Bunny Rabbit in Sonic the Hedgehog to, Jesus, so many others. Chucky Finster in Rugrats. So many. I think anyone else will attest to just how great you were. And if they don't, well, I don't care about them.
There you go.
You heard it here from my mouth to your ears, and we'll keep the joke there because, again, this is a family show.
The dulcet tones of Rich Drezen.
Yep.
So, who do you think is the best living voice artist?
Oh, that's cruel.
And you want to give, like, categories or whatever, you know, kind of have... Because everybody's got a specialty. Feel free. But who are your favorites?
Well, I love Rob Paulson.
Yeah, well, we knew that.
Okay, so we're going, like, other than Rob Paulson.
Yes.
You know who else has always made quite an impression on me is Jim Cummings. And I mean, as far as I'm concerned, let's be honest. If you could spend the rest of your life doing the voices of both Winnie the Pooh and Tigger, would you do it? The answer is,
of course.
I'll answer it for everybody. Yeah, exactly. Why wouldn't you want to do the voices of those characters? You know, I mean, it's like Charles Fleischer was joking around on the set of Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he insisted on, you know, authenticity, so he ended up putting on a rabbit costume. And in between takes, he's kind of muttering around to the staff like, 4 years of college, and I'm a rabbit. Shakespeare, and I'm a rabbit.
Well, he's right, so, you know.
Yep.
But you get paid to be a rabbit, so, you know, there you go.
Well, I mean, I don't think he was paid for the costume he made.
Well, he was paid to show up and
Do stuff.
do stuff.
Well, Lou Hirsch, unfortunately, was not following in his footsteps in putting on a Baby Herman outfit. But hey, to each his own.
You got to get into your character in your own special way.
Yep. I wonder how Bob Hoskins got into playing Eddie Valiant. Better yet, Mario from Super Mario Brothers. My God.
Oh, that was for the live action?
Yeah.
That was frightening.
Yes. I mean, I love that movie, don't get me wrong, but it is so bad. It is just, it's, and I'm, oh, it is just so not good. I'm getting so many errors on this thing, but what do I care? I'm like...
So,
Yep.
I'm a writer, as you folks may have heard by now. But I do like to do most of my first drafts freehand, like just on pen and paper, as opposed to typing them up. So a friend of mine was telling me about this notebook that they have, that you use a special pen. You write with it just like you would a normal, just like you would a regular notebook.
Light scribe.
Well, no, but what you do, it's even better than that. You can go ahead and scan, and it'll translate it, which, whatever. But then what you do is you put the notebook in the microwave.
What?
And then you take it out of the microwave, and all the writing's gone.
I have not heard of this.
Evidently, you can get it like at Staples and Office Max. I have to investigate this.
Yeah.
But they have different ones that you can either just use like a damp cloth and you wipe it off, as long as you use the pen that goes with the notebook, or you put it in the microwave and it you just take the whole notebook, you pop it into the microwave like you would a bag of popcorn, and you come out with a clean notebook.
That's like...
Which is crazy, because then what you do is you fill up the notebook, you scan all the pages in, and then you just zap it and start over again. Which kind of reminds me of you with the screen, because if you don't like something, you just hit the undo key and it's out. But, as I said, we live in an age of wonders.
We most certainly do. I don't think I'm going to color this drawing because it's really getting late, and I am definitely, as soon as my voice starts to crack, you know that it's only a matter of time before I just kind of go and pass out.
So are we going to have to get you a hot cup of tea for next time?
Maybe,
As long as you know not to dip your pen into it,
Well, I wouldn't do that anyway, because that's just, you'd have to be a total moron to do something like that with a $100 pen. Although I have a very funny story to share that I think you might appreciate and at the same time be horrified about.
As most good stories are. So please continue.
So I went shopping last week and I bought a 12-pack of Pepsi Max, which is the Pepsi equivalent of Coke Zero. The new Coke Zero is actually quite good. So.
But you digress.
Yeah. So, anyways, I was very thirsty after I went shopping. So I opened up a can of said Pepsi Max, and I drank it. And when I got home, I noticed that the cans had spilled all over the floor of my car, and I was very sad about that. So I collected all the cans, or at least so I thought. I go out to my car this morning in 15-degree weather, and I was also on a live stream, and I'm going through the back seat of my car because I had to move things around because I was going to my parents' house to pick up some laundry and such, and the cookies for tonight's party.
And thanks again for that, Mrs. D.
Yes. So I reached into the back. I opened the back seat, and I see a cracked open can of Pepsi on the floor, and so I pulled it away, and there is a bowl of frozen Pepsi. And it's not so much the bowl of frozen Pepsi that bothers me as what it's up against. You know what it was up against?
What?
It was up against the 2 boxes of all my Lucky Zilla comics that I'm selling. But,
however,
they're safe.
Yay.
Untouched.
Excellent.
But let me tell you.
No wonder you were all freaked out during the live cast. Now it makes sense.
Everything happens for a reason. And my reason is, if it starts to look like I'm freaking out, I probably am. Don't just think that everything is okay with me all the time. Ask questions, communicate with your friends. Make sure that they are happy. And when they are sad, try to talk them out of being sad. Because being sad sucks. It really does suck. We can say that because, let's face it, some things in life just suck. They do.
But untouched Lucky Zilla comics? That's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. They are still available in ample quantities. I will be shipping a bunch of them on Tuesday, I hope. That is, if you're buying. Hopefully you're all buying.
Where can they get Lucky Zilla comics?
On LuckyZilla.com, of course.
Do you have all 6 issues available?
I do. And number 2 is in its 3rd printing, I might add.
What if they want them signed?
You can request it. Send an email after you make the order, and I will be happy to oblige. If you happen to forget that you want them signed and you live locally, then come to one of the conventions that we're going to be appearing at, bring your comics, and I will sign them.
Where can they find your convention schedule, Rick?
On LuckyZilla.com, at least once it becomes available. We're still arranging the shows that we're going to appear at in 2018, so keep checking back, and of course subscribe to our email list, which you can sign up for on LuckyZilla.com. And also on DrezenMedia.com, because we got one going for that too.
Are they the same one or 2 different?
2 different ones. Let's see. It's weird, I feel like I'm drawing high heels, but who's judging? Your kid want to wear high heels, let them wear high heels. I mean, it's like in a world full of princesses, dare to be Batman.
Maybe his sister made him put him on him. I think she was behind it.
That's a possibility.
She confused it. She got confused with one of her dress-up dolls and decided to put heels on Dexter.
Yep. Let's see now. Wonder if one of these days my friend Mary is going to cosplay as Dee Dee from Dexter's Laboratory. That is probably if she can get somebody else to be Dexter. But I'm not that guy. I'm too tall. You get one of the children she babysits to be her Dexter.
That would be cool.
That would be. It's like a lot of kids are into cosplay. Okay, so we are almost at the end, people. And I think I've managed to keep this one particular stream. Interesting. I was originally planning to keep these streams under a half hour, but one of these days we'll get there. The villains one that I'm going to be doing on January 11th might go a little bit longer depending on what y'all vote for. So you voted for Dexter and Mandark. I hope you're satisfied with the results, as I am. I have a few quick announcements. First off, let you get a good look at that. First off, it is the first day of the new year, and it is also Monday, and what that means is that if you go on LuckyZilla.com, it is time for, yes, another LuckyZilla comic strip. Every single Monday at 9 a.m. usually, but because it's New Year's, you know, we got a jump start on it. A new LuckyZilla comic strip. Excuse me. So yeah, check that out. Is good. This is our 116th strip. It's a long time running. Long time production. Same thing with Drezen Media. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Nancy Scurry for being here and giving me some much needed zen so that I could concentrate on this. It's not as easy as it looks, especially, you know, being that this is officially the first episode, and this is the very first day of Drezen Media, the company. There's my makeshift company sign. So, again, last time, DrezenMedia@gmail.com. Send us an email with a request of what you would like to see, or suggest it on our Facebook page or in the YouTube comments. We thank you for stopping by, and we hope you've enjoyed, and we will be back January the 11th, Thursday, January 11th at 8 p.m. The theme, villains.
Dun, dun, dun.